All right, hello everyone. My name is Professor Brian Murphy, and welcome to English 1101. This is a summer semester, I'm sure you're all aware, and so that means that things are going to be pretty fast-paced. And I'm just going to tell you right off the bat that you need to be ready for these assignments and to keep up with your work over the course of the summer semester because it's only 8 weeks, and that goes by way quicker than you think. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to go over the syllabus. We're going to talk about the various expectations of the class, what's due, when it's due, and hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a pretty firm understanding of what is expected. So first of all, I've had some people ask me about meetings. There aren't going to be any Collaborate meetings for this class. Now, I'm a big believer in lectures. I'm a big believer in the classroom setting. I think it's really, really important for a lot of people in order to stay engaged, to have a constant sort of classroom setting and to be involved in that process. But online classes are a little bit different because a lot of the times people take online classes because they have weird schedules or they have a lot going on and they want to be able to do things in their own time. So we're not going to have any actual meetings because I can't really mandate that all of you be there at a specific time, especially if you have work and all that other stuff. So this is an online course. Now there will be lectures that will be posted to my YouTube channel, which will also be accessible through Blackboard. And those videos will take the place of the class lecture format that I usually give. So if you're wondering, like, is there going to be a class sort of interaction, those lectures will take that place. So the weekly schedule, like I said, it's online. There is no schedule. Credit hours are 3. My name is Brian Murphy. That's Brian with a Y. Please make sure you spell it correctly. My email address is brian.murphy@wescatech.edu. I really prefer that you route all communications through this email address. You should be using your own school email. You should be checking it regularly. So just as a good rule of thumb, you might want to see now my collar is messed up. Oh well. You might want to check your email regularly and get acquainted with that account because you will receive notifications from the school and from me and from all sorts of places through that. I do have an office, however, it's on the Coweta campus, which is in the lovely city of Noonan. If you don't live anywhere near Noonan, obviously coming by my office probably isn't really the best option for you. But I do have an office and I am available there if you'd like to come by and say hello, ask me some questions if you live in the area. It's the Coweta campus, office B228. Now that's building B. There are 2 buildings on the Coweta campus. There's A and there's B. I'm in B. I'm on the 2nd floor in an office B228, and you can come back and see me during my office hours. Monday, Wednesday, 2 to 5, or Tuesday, 12 to 2. Okay. I also have an office phone number, 770-755-7815. So if you ever want to give me a ring, sometimes I'm not in here, I'll be in class, or sometimes I drive between here and Carrollton. So, it's hit or miss with the phone, but it's there. If you have an emergency. Some of you have asked about a textbook. There is a textbook for this course. It's an open education resource. And what that means is you don't have to spend any money at the bookstore. I know some of you, if this is not your first college experience, you've probably been to the bookstore and realized that, wow, it's really expensive. So here at the English department, we try to make the composition level courses free textbook resources. So there is a textbook. It's, I believe it is called, do they have the name listed here? I will pull it up in a moment. Okay. Stuff you might need a flash drive. You definitely need to download Microsoft Word. And this is the big thing, because a lot of people will write their essays on Google Docs or some other form of word processor. There are always problems with the file conversion. In other words, taking the Google Docs file and turning it into a Word file so that you can submit it appropriately to the Dropbox. If you do that, it'll mix things up and you'll get points taken off because your formatting will be wrong or something. So go ahead and download Microsoft Word if you don't have it already. I do have a link that I can send you where you should be able to get access not only to Word, but to the entire Office suite for free by putting in your school email. I'll have to dig that up, but if you don't have Word, shoot me an email, and I will send you a link to the place where you can download it. You do need internet access for this class. That goes without saying, because it's online. But if you have problems with internet access, you need to reach out to me, and we'll see what we can do. I know that there are computers on each of the campuses which you can use in the libraries and things like that. So there are options if you are having trouble with the internet or your internet is down or whatever. Okay, you should use Chrome or Firefox to navigate Blackboard. All right, so these are my instructor-specific policies, and there is a quiz over the syllabus that you're going to have to take, and most of the questions on the quiz will be from the instructor-specific policy. So these are my personal policies that I put into the syllabus, okay? The first order of business is an unpleasant one, plagiarism and academic dishonesty. I have a zero tolerance policy for plagiarism and academic dishonesty. If you are caught representing any outside material whatsoever as your own work, without parenthetical citations or quotation marks and with a works cited page, you will receive an automatic 0 on the assignment. So if you plagiarize anything, from a major essay to a quiz, anything like that, and I catch you, it's a goose egg, non-negotiable. It's just the discussion is over, you get a 0. Depending on the severity of the circumstance, you may also be referred to administration for what's called a code of conduct violation, which is very unpleasant. Let's not do that. Under those circumstances, penalties can vary from failing a course to expulsion to lots of different stuff. So please don't plagiarize. I will talk to you more about what plagiarism is in the coming lectures. I don't know if I put it on the syllabus, but I will sneak in some stuff about plagiarism. So you will know what it is and how to avoid it. Some people do plagiarize by accident, and hopefully by the time I'm done talking about it, you'll know how not to do that, okay? Excuse me. Okay, this is a big one. My preferred method of communication is my school email, brian.murphy, B-R-Y-A-N.murphy, M-U-R-P-H-Y, at wescatech.edu. The reason this is because when I have multiple courses and I have Blackboard inboxes for each course, like say I'm teaching, in the fall I'll be teaching 6 courses. 6 different inboxes, it's a headache. It's way too much to keep up with. So I watch my email all the time. My email goes straight to my phone. So if you send me a message, it'll go to my phone, I'll get it. It's the best way to keep in touch with me. I really would prefer that you do not use Blackboard messaging at all, okay? Now, I say this every semester, and people still end up sending me messages, and then they come up later and go, well, you didn't answer my Blackboard message. I don't check it. I don't check it because it's too much. Please just use the email. Use the email. It's possible that I overlook an email. That does happen on occasion, but most of the time I'm very good about answering them. So please use my email to communicate with me. Use your email, right? Make sure you log into it regularly. It's a good way to stay on top of it. The next policy is the Turnitin Dropbox policy. So all of the essays, when they're done, there are 3 major essays that you're going to have to write over the course of the semester. They're each 3 pages long. They all have to go through the Turnitin Dropbox. Now, what the Turnitin Dropbox is, it basically provides a plagiarism check for me, where it scans your document against every document that's been submitted to Turnitin, and also the internet, like a search engine type thing. And it will show me any matches between your document and other documents or stuff on the internet, and then I can use that information to deduce whether or not you've plagiarized. As a result, all essays must go through this so that I have the access to that feature. And I do realize that sometimes there are problems with handing stuff in to Turnitin. There are problems with the Dropbox. If you do encounter a Dropbox problem, you may send me the essay by email to show me that it is on time, but I will not grade it until it goes in the Turnitin Dropbox. So you're going to have to figure out how to get it in there. It's either you don't have the right type of document file, it might be your browser, it might be the type of computer you have, it might be some weird issue with Blackboard. You're going to have to figure out how to troubleshoot that on your own, but you can send me the essay to go, hey, please don't count this link, okay? But if it doesn't go in the Turnitin Dropbox, it doesn't get graded, no exception. And the reason this is because on a couple of occasions, of occasions, I have had people try to bypass the plagiarism check by emailing me essays and stuff like that. And of course, I catch them, and then it's like, well, why did you bypass the turn it in? Because they knew they plagiarized. Okay. Issues with Chromebooks. I do have to say this. Sometimes people with Chromebooks don't have any problem. Sometimes people with Chromebooks, Blackboard is the biggest headache in the world for them. So I do put this little clause in here saying, hey, if you use a Chromebook, which I realize is probably a lot of you, you might want to look into some kind of other arrangement. If you can borrow someone else's computer, if there's a PC that you can get to, if you can come to school and do your homework. That's like, it's so inconsistent. Some people, they use a Chromebook, they got no problem. Other people use a Chromebook, they can't hand anything in, everything's messed up. So I'm just letting you know, sometimes there are issues with that, and that needs to be on your radar, because technology issues are not a good reason not to hand stuff in, because there are ways around those issues. And if you can't get around the issue, there's also the help desk. If you go through the West Georgia Tech webpage, you can submit a help desk ticket that goes straight to a technician who can help you. Okay, so if you ever have computer problems, don't email me about those, because I'm a dunce when it comes to computers. I'll be honest with you. But there are people at the school that are really good and they can help you with that stuff. Okay, moving right along. Content advisory. So I am going to have you read a couple of short stories, short works of, they're not all stories, but they're short works of literature. Because I think it's important that we read stuff and that we have stuff that can kind of stimulate our minds and get us thinking. And some of these stories and stuff are a little bit, the content is kind of disturbing for some of them. And I understand people's moral objections to stuff, and I really welcome you to give me your opinions, and to let me know what you think. But the main thing you need to understand is that I'm not going to dismiss content for a student on the basis of moral objection. So if you say, well, this offends me, or this makes me feel sad, and I understand that, and please understand that I'm not trying to demean your response, but for the purposes of, it's just impossible for me to placate everyone, because everyone has different moralities and different sets of ethics and stuff. So, you know, it is what it is, okay? And no content will be dismissed on the basis of moral objection. Disruptive behavior, this isn't really going to count because we are not really in a class format, but I will say when you're emailing me, please try to be cordial. I feel like a lot of times maybe we don't really think too much about our tone and how the tone gets translated into Blackboard. So just make sure that you are cordial with your emails. Hello, professor, how are you? You know, here's my problem, can you help me sort it out? And usually I'm very cordial right back, right? So please just try to be as nice as you can, and I'll do the same. So course materials in Blackboard. I have changed a lot of what is automatically in Blackboard, and I think I've been pretty good about hiding all the stuff that you're not supposed to do, but I could have missed something. It's possible. So please, if you're trying to determine what's due for a grade, please just go by the syllabus and the schedule. And if you see something that isn't listed on the syllabus and schedule, it's not for a grade. Okay, I don't think that should be a problem, but sometimes there's just so much stuff in the course shell on Blackboard that, you know, it's tough. Let's see. The late work policy. This is a big one. So discussions, quizzes, and other daily assignments can only be made up with an excused absence. Okay, so if you miss a quiz or a discussion post, you've got, you know that they're due in advance. You've got plenty of time to do them. So really the only reason that an excused absence would come up be like, I'm sorry, you know, my cousin is in the hospital, or my kid is sick, or, you know, and in most cases you will need to verify those excuses and stuff. Life happening excuses, I typically don't take. Like if you say, oh, well, work scheduled me during the time that it was due. You know, there's, everybody has some kind of balance that they have to manage. And if I let those kinds of problems serve as excused absences, I would never get any work. So you need to manage your own sort of school, work, life balance type thing. Make sure you put in the time. because without an excused absence, you can't make up those assignments. Now, essays are a little bit different. There are three-page essays, 1,000 words in length, and each of them is in MLA format, and they are 5 points per day that they are late. So, 2 days is 10 points, 3 days, 15. You guys get it. And that I don't need an excuse for that. If it's late and it's late, I'm just going to deduct. Now, if you want to try to stave the deduction, then you'll need an excuse. But so that takes care of the instructor-specific policies for now. So please try to keep that stuff in mind. I'm going to try to move on a little bit. This is mostly just general language, stuff about withdrawals. Withdrawals are important because if you want to withdraw from the course, you need to do so before a certain date, and that date is listed on the syllabus. If you withdraw after the date, you'll get a WF, which is the same as an F. So please keep that in mind. That is important. But this is just some general language. Now, this is important, the course-specific requirements and grading guide. So this is the grade breakdown, basically. This is what is going to be graded and what will be broken down based on percentage. 60% is major writing assignments. Those are the essays, right? 3-page essays. 3 pages is about 1,000 words. They have to be in MLA format. They're over different topics, different writing assignments. And each one is worth 20% of the final grade for a total of 60%. Now, that usually alarms people. Oh, my God, 3 assignments that are 60%? Well, this is a composition course. We are teaching you how to write, so the essays are really important, and essays do take a little bit of time. So even though there are only 3 assignments for 60%, they're pretty intensive assignments, and I think that you'll find that out. So please keep that in mind. That those are very, very important. You're going to want to stay on top of those writing assignments. The next category is learning activities. And that's going to include 4 discussion boards and 4 quizzes over the short reading assignments. There are 4 short reading assignments that are in the folder on Blackboard. They are Plato's Allegory of the Cave, The Lottery by Shirley Jackson, Letter from Birmingham Jail by Martin Luther King Jr., and A Modest Proposal by Jonathan Swift. So there are 4 readings and there are 4 quizzes over those readings. And they count in the learning activities. And then there are 4 discussion boards that are also on Blackboard. So those total 8 assignments are in the learning activities, and that's 20%. Now then the next category is assessments. Now that includes the quizzes over the syllabus and the rhetorical strategies from the textbook. So these are 9 quizzes total. Now notice that this category is separate from the reading quizzes. They're in different categories. Reading quizzes go into learning activities. The other quizzes go into assessments. So 9 quizzes, 20%. That's the total, 100%. So we have 9 general quizzes, 4 reading quizzes, 4 discussions, and 3 essays. That's it. That's all I'm taking. Okay, it is 8 weeks, so it's more than it looks, I promise. And that's what's going to be taken for a grade. I don't take the outlines or any of that stuff, the pre-writing for a grade in this class. So if you want to do that stuff for your own good, I've left the assignment prompts up there, but they're not taken for a grade, okay? All right, so that should clarify all that stuff. Now we need to go over the course schedule. Obviously, yesterday it was closed for a holiday. Drop add, meaning if you want to get rid of this class and add another one, you've got till the 3rd to do so without problems. You can just do it freely. You need to watch these videos. Obviously, you're watching this one, Syllabus Overview. After this video, I'm going to do another video on rhetorical strategies and MLA format. So make sure you watch those this week. There are 3 assignments due this weekend. The syllabus quiz is due Sunday, June 6th at 11:59 p.m. All of the quizzes, including the reading quizzes, are in the same folder on Blackboard. It says quizzes for summer semester. And all of the study materials are in that same folder. So you should be able to find it really easy. So syllabus quiz, process strategy quiz, and narration strategy quiz. So there is a chapter from your textbook that is over all the different strategies. And then there are also little videos on each of these strategies. And those are included in the resources folder with the quizzes. So just read over that stuff, then take the quiz. Simple. Okay, hold on, make sure that was, there we go, week 2. So next week we're going to do thesis statements and topic sentences. And we're going to practice. I'm going to practice some of the strategies in front of you and show you how to do them. And then we're going to go over the prompts for essay 1. And then discussion number 1 is due Sunday, June 13th at 11:59. Compare and contrast quiz, cause and effect quiz, and classification quiz are also due next week. So if that seems like a lot, you might want to work ahead. The quizzes are like 10 questions each, and they're very simple if you read the chapter. And the chapters, the sections in the chapter are only like 3 or 4 pages long. It's really not a big deal. Okay, so then week 3 is the 14th through the 20th. We're going to watch the video lecture 3 over the conclusion paragraph. I'm going to talk about final edits, wordiness, word variants, maybe some stuff about grammar. I'm not going to really hammer home the grammar stuff because you guys are in college. You should have gotten most of that. But if I do notice a lot of grammar problems on the first essay, then I may introduce more of that stuff as the class goes along. Then on week 3, I want you to read The Allegory of the Cave by Plato. It's a very old text. Some people have confusion with it. I will give you a couple of comments before you read it, so that maybe it's a little easier for you to access. But you should be able to answer the quiz questions pretty easily based on just reading it. Essay 1 is due Sunday, June 20th, and the Allegory of the the Allegory of the Cave quiz is also due Sunday, June 20th at 11:59. Okay, week 4. We have another lecture over persuasion and argumentation. Poultry for POTUS is an example essay, so I'm going to show you like what kind of essay I'm trying to get for essay 2. That's like an example essay that I have written. Poultry for POTUS sounds silly because it's about why my rooster, my pet rooster, should become president of the United States. It is a joke, it is a satire, but I have written it as like to show you how to model an argumentative essay. Okay, because the second essay is going to be like an argumentative or persuasive exemplification essay. So we're going to go over that. We're going to talk about making your thesis and topic sentences argumentative. We're going to go over essay 2, and then I'm going to just give some reflections on Allegory of the Cave and tell you why I made you read it and why I think it's important. It's really helpful when this is like a class discussion, but as I said, since we can't do that, you'll just have to deal with me talking about it a little bit, and hopefully that'll help clear things up. Discussion 2 is due that Sunday. I'm sorry that the date is off, but it's Sunday, June 27th. The persuasion quiz is also due then, and the lottery quiz. Quiz over Shirley Jackson's The Lottery, which you'll need to read during that week. Let's see. July 1st is the withdrawal deadline. After this date, withdrawal results in a WF. So if you decide that you're bombing the class and you don't want to do it anymore, you need to make that decision before July 1st. Then we have a video lecture on academic credibility, the CRAP credibility test, doing research in Galileo, how to properly cite secondary sources, and then my reflections on the lottery. That week, you'll need to read MLK's Letter from a Birmingham Jail. Very powerful letter if you've never read it before. Extremely argumentative, helps you learn the persuasive strategy really well. It's one of the most persuasive pieces that I can think to assign. Then the argumentation quiz, the exemplification quiz, and the Birmingham Jail quiz are all due on July 4th. July 4th? Yes, July 4th. If you decide that you want to celebrate the holiday and that you're not going to be able to submit the stuff on that specific day, you can work ahead. It's not that much, right? Okay. Week 6. College is closed July 5th for the holiday. I'm going to do what's called a virtual roast workshop. So a roast workshop is, a lot of students get nervous about this. It's thesis statements from essay, the thesis statements from essay 1 will be taken from your essay that you submitted anonymously. And they'll be put into a Word document and put in front of the class, or at least done in these like video lectures. I'll put it on the screen and talk about each thesis statement. Usually when you're actually in my class, I make you sit in what's called I don't make you, but you have the option of sitting in the roasting chair, because it's like a roast, like a Comedy Central roast. Everyone just kind of like picks apart your thesis statement while you're sitting in the chair, like, oh, me, look what I did. And that it's kind of supposed to be fun like that. You don't have to sit in the chair, but we're still going to go over the thesis statements. They'll just all be anonymous, so you don't have to worry about getting called out, right? That's good. And we'll do that, and then I'll give you some reflections of the Letter from Birmingham Jail. Then you're going to read Jonathan Swift's A Modest Proposal, which is by far the most screwed up thing that I will make you read this semester. You will wonder, after you read it, why I have a job. It will make sense, I promise, but it is something we're going to go over. Discussion 3 is due Sunday, July 11th at 11:59. Essay 2 is due the 11th, and the quiz is due the 11th. A lot of stuff due week 6. So like I said, if you get nervous about it, you want to work ahead. The pace of summer is very intense, guys, and there's nothing I can do about it. I got to take what's normally a 16-week class and condense it into 8. So week 7, the The third essay is going to be writing about literature, because 1102, which is the course after this one, is a literature class. So if you're going to write about literature, you need to kind of know like what that's about, because you're not just regurgitating what happened in the literature read. You're like making an argument about what literature is doing and why it matters, and that's a whole nother level of critical thinking. So I'm going to have a lecture about like how to analyze literature, how to assess its value, because the third essay is basically asking you, how can literature change the world based on the readings that we've read up to this point in class. Okay, I'm a big on reading. I think it's important to read. I think it's important to read stuff that stimulates your mind. It gets you thinking in different ways, and I think it's important for a culture to understand the value of literature and why it matters and why it is that you have to come to college and take a class from some weirdo about literature and composition. So we will go over that, and then week 8 we have another virtual roast workshop with these statements from Essay 2. Discussion 4 is due Sunday, July the 24th, and then week 9 we don't have anything except the essay being due. So once we're done with the virtual roast workshop in week 8, then it's just Essay 3, and I'll make myself available to you either via teleconference or whatever if you want to come and ask me questions. But I like to kind of back off at the end and give you guys a second to breathe, because I know that the other professors are probably turning it up pretty good around then. So I try to give you just a little room to breathe, finish the essay, and you're done with me. And then that's it, folks. That's everything that's expected. So that's the syllabus. I think I touched over everything. I hope I did. I wish I could meet you all in person. I'm a very personal guy. I like joking around with my students a little bit and having a good time in class. And it's kind of a bummer that we have to do this in the virtual format, but it is what it is. I realize that online education definitely has its value, and it's important to a lot of people. So hopefully I make this as easy as possible, and hopefully you guys enjoy the class for what it's worth. Have an excellent afternoon, and look out for the second video to come shortly.